Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica. I have been getting a lot of questions on how I finish off my cross stitch pieces. This is our January truck of the month. We did that a couple years ago. This is our January house of the month. We did that last year. If you haven't seen these, last year I released house of the month patterns, both cross stitch and quilt versions, so definitely check them out. You can get both the quilty and stitchy patterns in my store, and I will make sure to link that below. The January truck of the month has its own finishing video here on YouTube, so I will make sure to link that below and maybe somewhere up here on the screen as well, so you can head over and check that out. The finishing video for the January house of the month was actually embedded in one of our Vlogmas episodes, so it's a little bit hard to find. I always get questions on it, and so I thought I would pull that video out and re-release it as its own video so it's a lot easier for everyone to find. So I'm gonna go ahead and cue the footage on how I finished off my January house of the month. So I'm gonna be finishing my January cross stitch today, so I thought I would give you not only a sneak peek, but just kind of talk you through it. All of the cutting information is gonna be in the pattern, so I'm not gonna go over all that here today, but I did use a scrap piece of fabric to stitch this on, and so mine is really, really small. So have a little bit more fabric around the outside of yours than I am going to have right here, but I am going to try and make it work. So this board on the back is just called Sticky Board. This is also in my tutorial, and it's a peel and stick board. You can find it at Hobby Lobby and places like that. But you would really just peel this backing off, and then it's sticky, and then you can stick your stitching to it. You could also put a piece of batting on here so your stitching is a little bit puffier. Since I am working with such short overage, I am not going to be able to do the batting. I might try it on my next piece. And then you'll need a fun piece of fabric that matches and another larger piece of that sticky board. But we are going to be using our glue gun to put that on. The only other things that you're going to need, I am using an old rotary blade to cut these pieces. These are 1/8 by 1 inch washers, and they just look like this. And I'm going to be gluing these to the back of my piece. So I'm going to use 2 of those. And then I'm also just using these round dot magnets, and you can get these also at your local, like Home Depot. You can also get them on Amazon as well, and I'll try and link some below. And I'm going to be using 2 of those. And then you might want to have something fun to put this on. You can just leave them and, you know, set them somewhere fun in your house, but I always like to put it on something fun. So I found this at Hobby Lobby. It was in their wall decor section. And then here's all of the information on there. You can screenshot this if you want to try and find the same one. I got this a few months ago, so I don't know if they still have it, but it's just this cute little kind of cutting board. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it like this. I actually have some Annie Sloan chalk paint. I might be repainting this. I think it's really cute as it is, so we'll see what it looks like on there. But this design might be too much in my background. If that's the case, I will take off this little tie and just chalk paint it so that it matches a little bit better. But I wanted to show you that because that's really cute. The other thing that can be handy is an acrylic ruler, and I just use that to cut my pieces. So I just put them right on there and just cut. These aren't the exact sizes, those are my leftovers. So I'm going to speed this part up so you don't have to watch me do this whole thing. But like I said, I do have a full in-depth tutorial on how I finish these pieces. But basically, I start out by putting a dot of glue on each corner and folding up those corners. And then I'm going to run a thin bead along the sides and fold down the sides. And I just do my best to get it to fit nice and tight and just make sure that my fabric is pulled nice and evenly on all 4 sides. I'm going to repeat that same process with the larger backing piece and fabric, and just make sure that everything is nice and secure. This process actually goes really easily. Everything stays put nicely, and the hot glue gun just makes it super fast. Now, as you'll notice, my fabric piece, the backing is a little bit unfinished looking. I don't actually care because I'm putting it on that little cutting board. However, if you were going to be gifting it, you might want to finish the backing a little bit better. There's a couple different options. You could just finish 2 sticky boards the exact same size and then place them, you know, with the wrong sides together so that they are looking more finished. You could also put a piece of felt over the back just to cover up all those raw edges. So I also decided to put a little bit of rickrack on the edge of my piece just to give it a little bit of a decorative border. I should have used something a little bit thicker. This is only about a 1/4 inch thick rickrack, and so I'm really having to be careful to make sure that it's sticking out from the edge there so that you can actually see it once I turn my piece over. I think a 1/2 inch rickrack probably would have been a better choice. Once I have my rickrack on, I'm just going to add a bunch of hot glue to the back of my piece, center it on that backing sticky board, and just make sure it all looks nice and even, and then we're all done. Now the last part is to put on the washers and magnets, and so I'm going to go ahead and just glue a little bit of glue on each of the back of the washers and just place them on. I'm also just touching up those corners a little bit. Then I'm going to stick the magnets onto the washers, add a little bit of glue, center them, and place them down where I want. Once the hot glue is dry on the magnets, I can remove the January piece and swap it out for any other month. And then I don't have to purchase a backing piece for each month. I can just reuse this cutting board every time a new month rolls around. And you can get both the Stitchy and Quilty patterns in my store already at store.confessionsofahomeschooler.com. All right, guys, that's how I finished off my house of the month for January. I pretty much finished them all off that way. You can see all of the house of the months here on YouTube. I do have a playlist. So if you just scroll down on my channel, you'll see the house of the month playlist there, and you can see all of these fun patterns. Thanks so much for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.